Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. I'm Kyra Howearth, your host. Here on the show, we talk all about manifesting your dreams with the power of the moon so you can use the cosmic energy to transform your life. I never really had many friends until I started manifesting them. Hi, it's Kyra Howearth and you're listening to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. Welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my story of how I manifested friends, because too often we feel alone, and as humans we naturally crave connection. We want to feel like there are others out there who are just like us. And unfortunately sometimes it is really hard to find like-minded friends. So we're going to be breaking down exactly how you can manifest your own friends. So instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you can actually start to manifest your newest BFFs. So a bit of a background story about me. So you may know I'm a Gemini, and typically Geminis are very social. They're the life of the party, all that sort of thing. That is not me. As a child, I was very quiet, and I was often very silent in classes, in social situations. I just did not really know how to make friends, and I never really felt like I fit in. And so throughout my schooling years, I would maybe have just a friend or two, but there were some years at school when my one friend would change schools or move to a different town or something like that, or we'd have a fight, and I was so alone, and I literally felt like I had no friends. I would sometimes sit by myself at lunchtime, cry a little bit. I would, as a last desperate resort, I would hang out with my younger sister and her friends, and that was a bit embarrassing. So as I grew up, left school, I had my first baby basically straight out of high school, and at that time my high school friends were all at uni. They were living the party uni sort of lifestyle, university, but that was not my lifestyle because I had a newborn baby, and again I felt very alone because none of my friends could relate to the journey that I was on in motherhood. They had no idea what it was like to have a baby, and all those different things that come with that territory. So I kind of started to give up on the idea of having friends by this stage. I felt very alone, and I had my baby and I just kept having more babies. I've got 4 kids now, and so they were my friends. But as I grew a bit older, my kids started to grow up a little bit, and I started to move out of my motherhood era. I'm still obviously a mother, but instead of focusing all my energy just on my babies, I wanted something more. I wanted some healthy female friendships. And I realized that, maybe there are weirdos out there like me who are into the witchy stuff, who might be vegan or might be into healthy organic foods or other sorts of weird things that I'm into, homeschooling. So instead of chasing new friends and trying to chase, work really hard to get those friends, I worked out how I could attract these people into my life. So what I did was I started hosting moon circles. At first I was like, there's not going to be many people who are going to sign up for my moon circles, but I picked a location and I put it out there to the universe, and I was so surprised that I ended up with about 25 people at my very first moon circle, and I was like, wow, these people are weirdos just like me. They're into this witchy stuff. They're into the moon. They're into spirituality. And from those moon circles, I began to make friends because there were women who kept coming back time and time again to these moon circles. And it was amazing because I began to actually feel like I had friends who were into cool stuff just like me. I started going to markets. I sold crystals, I sold dried herbs, I sold tarot decks, I sold all those sorts of witchy things at markets. And of course, just being there in my community where people are anyway, I obviously was attracting these witchy sort of people to my store. They wanted to come hang out with me. They wanted to browse my crystals and ask questions about herbs and get a tarot reading and all those sorts of things. And then I also went to homeschool meetups. I when I first started homeschooling, I was homeschooling for probably a good 3 to 5 years, thinking that I was the only homeschooling family in my area. And then I realized that there was actually heaps of homeschoolers around and they had regular meetups. And so we started going along to these regular meetups where we made friends. My kids made friends, I made friends. So it was really good for all of us. And then as I was also doing my own new moon rituals, I started to get more clear about, hey, I can actually use my new moon rituals to manifest friends. I can actually get really clear on the sort of friends that I want to manifest. I started visualizing the sort of women that I wanted to be friends with and go deep into the details. And part of this is how I made a really close friend. And I'm going to tell you that story now before I break down how you can apply some of these steps to your own life and start attracting your own friendships. So a while ago, I had like some really good close friends, but they were online and I didn't really have a close friend in person. Like I had friends in person, like I said, at that stage, I had been hosting moon circles, doing markets, all these different things, going to meetups and meeting amazing people. But like they were all like, you know, the difference between like a close friend and an acquaintance, right? These people were more like acquaintances. They weren't really close friends who I could just, you know, send a text like, hey, do you want to hang out, sort of thing. And I just really wanted someone like that. I wanted a close friend who I could hang out with, who maybe our kids could play while we talked about witchy stuff, like someone who was like a bit like me, maybe into the healthy lifestyle, the whole foods, maybe into the homeschooling, like the alternative sort of way of living. And so interestingly, I put this down in a new moon ritual and I got really clear about this sort of person that I wanted to call into my life. And I really wanted to manifest this new friend. So at the time I was getting a organic fruit and vegetable box delivered every week. And one week the lady who delivered the boxes, she said to me, Kyra, you've got to meet this other lady that I deliver a fruit box to. She is amazing. She is just like you. She homeschools. She has a little girl who's about your girl's ages. I think you two should meet. And so I, you know, got the name and the details from my fruit box lady. And I had actually seen this lady that we were talking about on Facebook because I noticed that she was in some of the same groups that I was in. And so I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I really should reach out to this lady. So I did. I sent her a message. I was like, hey, you know, we get our organic fruit boxes from the same person. She told me that we should meet. And anyway, it was so funny because this lady who I had reached out to, she said that she had heard the exact same thing. She had been down to our local organic whole food store and the owner of the store there said to this lady, you should really go meet Kyra. I think you two would really get along. You were very similar. I think you should definitely go meet up with Kyra. Here's her details. And so our paths crossed in like these multiple ways. The universe really led us together and we became great friends and we are still great friends, and she really ticks so many of those boxes. We have regular play dates. Our kids are like best friends, and we talk about business, we talk about witchy stuff, we talk about crystals, we talk about energy, we talk about all this different stuff, astrology. It is so fulfilling and wholesome. And I'm so glad that I manifested this friend that I really wanted to manifest. And now I feel like I have a lot of friends, like compared to where I was like 10 years ago, where I was really alone, where I was a bit more of a closet witch and really at the beginning of, I guess, my spiritual journey. And I felt so isolated back then. And to see where I've come now, like I just feel like I'm surrounded by friends and that on any given day, if I need a friend to talk to, I can literally just take my pick. So let's break down how you can manifest friends too, because I really want this for you too. You should not feel alone. So let's dive into this. So we're going to be using my dream framework. You may have heard of this in previous episodes, but this is one of my manifesting methods. So using the dream framework, I'm going to take you a few of these steps so that you can manifest your dream friends, those friends that you really want to call into your universe. So dream is an acronym. It stands for D is dream, R is research, E is embody, A is action, and M is manifest. So I'm going to take you through a few of these steps today. So the first one is dream. And this is where you get to visualize, where you get to really go into the details of who you want to call in. So what sort of friend do you want to manifest? Like, is she local? Is she? Maybe you want a he. Like getting really clear on the details. Maybe you want a mum friend, someone who has kids who are a similar age so they can go on play dates. Or maybe you want a friend who doesn't have kids. What sort of age bracket will this friend be in? Will she be about your age? Will she be younger? Will she be older? What sort of activities do you want to do together? Do you want to go out and do yoga together? Do you want to go out for coffee dates? Do you want to meet up for play dates for your kids? What is it that you're looking for in this friendship? Visualize all of the details about your new friend. Like, actually sit there for a few minutes or longer. You can take as long as you need. You may like to journal out the details. And this is especially powerful if you do this on a new moon, especially the new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about friendships. So that could be really good timing. But regardless, do it on a new moon because that's all about new beginnings, right? Visualize those details and start to call in that friend. Okay, so that's dream. That is your first step. Your second step is R, which stands for research. So as you start to visualize this friend, you're going to start thinking about, okay, where might she be hanging out? Or where might they be hanging out? So what types of things would this friend be into? Maybe they are already going to yoga. Maybe they are already going to certain play dates or play groups. Maybe they are already going out for coffee dates at local coffee shops or something like that. Maybe they're in certain Facebook groups, or maybe they're involved with other community groups already. So start thinking about where is this friend hanging out? Where are they? And how could you start going to these places that this friend already is? So it's not about chasing, it's about attracting and like being smart about this, like being strategic, like thinking about, okay, how can you put yourself in that right place for your paths to cross, right? So a bit similar to how I had that story that I shared with how I manifested my really good friend. Like our paths crossed because we were kind of hanging out in the same places. We were getting our fruit box delivered from the same person. She was going to the organic store where I also go. So how can your paths cross? How can you potentially meet this friend? So thinking about where they might already be hanging out, and then start going to those places or hanging out in those spaces. Maybe it's online, maybe it's in person. Start doing that. Maybe go to the park, see if she's already there playing with her kids. You don't know. You just don't know these things. We're going to skip the third step for now for embody, but we're going to dive straight into A for action, following that dream framework. So we've skipped the E, we're going to go straight into A just for the purposes of this episode. So A for action, you're going to take that action step. And that is like something like a reach out and make the first move. So like in my situation where I had heard about this lady who was really similar to me and was encouraged by a mutual friend, so to speak, to reach out. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just send this lady a message anyway. I've seen her online, like she looks pretty cool. And so I did. I reached out and made the first move. And then I was so surprised to hear that she had actually experienced something really similar on her end. So you just never know, like reach out, make that first move, send a message on Facebook, or like if you see that mum at the park with her friends and you want to be friends with her, like go say hello, introduce yourself, make that first move. Because if you really do want a friend, you're going to have to take some action steps. You can't just be hiding away at home, just waiting for the friends to find you. I know we're talking about like attracting, not chasing. I don't know if I said that the wrong way around earlier, but we want to attract, not chase. But like, it doesn't mean that you're just sitting at home, not doing that active work that's actually going to help you manifest, right? Like you need to actually do some sort of action step. You need to meet the universe halfway. So go to the places that she's already going, reach out, make that first move. If you don't know like who this friend is yet, like maybe you haven't had like that sort of situation that I did where I had like a suggestion like, hey, you should meet up with this lady. Make a post in a Facebook group. Like let's say maybe you're in a local group for mums and dads and you do want to meet up with, mums who have kids about your age. Make a post. I see these posts all the time where mums are saying, hey, I have like a 7-year-old boy who really wants a friend with someone else who's in a similar age. He's really into Minecraft and Roblox and all these sorts of things. Like you never know, like maybe there's someone else out there who has someone who ticks your boxes. So maybe there's a relevant Facebook group that you can use as well. The other thing that you can consider is going to events or workshops or meetups or anything else like that. So in-person sort of events are really, really good for this because you're actually getting out there, you're meeting people in the flesh. And as you meet people, like you may decide like, oh, you know what, like this person seems really nice and all, but they don't really tick the boxes for me. Like it's not what I'm manifesting. And that is okay. Like there have been times where I have also met up with friends or, made new friends, met up with people like from Facebook, like going to homeschool meetups and that sort of thing. And while they have been really, really amazing people, they may not have ticked all those boxes for what I was looking for when I was manifesting a close friend. So you may need to like shop around, so to speak. You may need to like keep meeting new people until you find that person that ticks those boxes for what you're looking for in a friendship. Like don't be afraid to be a bit picky. You may not get someone who ticks all of your boxes, but like, you want them to tick at least some of those boxes. So start meeting people. And like one of the best ways to do that is to go out there, is to go to wherever these people are hanging out. Like if there's like, for example, you're homeschooling, maybe there's homeschool events that you can go to, meet new homeschooling families. Maybe you meet up with homeschooling mums that tick your boxes that you can be friends with, or things like that. So we've gone through those 3 different steps following that dream framework. You've visualized through that dream step. You have researched, you've considered like, where are they hanging out already? And then we've talked about action steps. We've talked about like how you can actually take action to start attracting that friend into your life, and actually start meeting people who may be good candidates for being your friend. You definitely don't have to go through life feeling alone like I did for so many years. You deserve to have friends, and there are really so many amazing people out there who are looking for a friend just like you. And if you do want to come hang out with a bunch of moon lovers and manifesting queens, where you can share your full moon cards and talk about witchy stuff and read your horoscope and all that cool stuff, join us inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. This is your space to feel seen and heard along your journey of manifesting with the moon. We are all like a bunch of weirdos inside the Moon Manifesting Coven, and I say that with the most love because, of course, I'm a weirdo too. But I know it can be hard to find people who are into things like the moon and full moon rituals and all that sort of thing. So that is what we do inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. We have live calls every single month that dive into a different aspect of manifesting. You get sent out horoscopes multiple times per week. You get full moon and new moon ritual booklets and so much more. So to join us inside the coven, you can go to kyrahowearth.com/coven or check out the links down below in my show notes. I would love to invite you inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. So I would love to know, have you used this method to manifest friends before? Do you have maybe a cool friendship manifesting story that you would like to share? Maybe you have like some sort of synchronous meeting like I had, or maybe you have some other cool friendship manifesting story. I would absolutely love to know. If there is the capability to comment below this episode, comment, let me know about it. I want to hear it. And if you're listening to this episode somewhere where you can't leave comments, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to know your manifesting story. You'll find me on social media at kyrahowearth.official. And of course, you can find all the links down below in the show notes. Go check out that link, or those links, I should say. So have fun manifesting your newest friend or friends. I hope you really enjoy this journey of manifesting people who make you feel less alone so that you can enjoy life together. Have fun, stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I will talk with you all in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Moon Manifesting Podcast. If you are curious about working with the moon, you can read my book, Moon Manifesting, or join us inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. You'll find the links in the show notes or go to kyrahowearth.com.